Nothing wrong with a little cool in the game, getting us kicked off this morning. How's everybody doing out there in Symmetry Land? Good? And all these shining, smiling faces on here. Awesome. We will get kicked off. So welcome to our regular Friday Menifee Vetter Dinwiddie Agency call. And we will get kicked off with our leaderboards for this last week. And then since last Friday was the technically the last day of the month, there was quite a bit of business that was turned in on Friday after we had our meeting in the morning. So it's still counted for the month. So we'll actually go over our monthly leaderboards from last month as well. But first things first, I mean, most of you all or all of you all should have been on that award ceremony call yesterday. And wow. The folks on this team and in this organization specifically dominated. We crushed people. There are names on this group and on this team everywhere you turned on those leaderboards yesterday. An incredible job to everybody. I don't even want to start getting into naming specifics because there were so many. Honestly, I don't remember them all. There were just so many. So definitely give yourself a round of applause for folks that were on there and recognize yesterday on that call. Just a fantastic effort last year in 2020 in the face of COVID and everything that we dealt with last year. But overall, grew significantly in our business, all of us, and just a great job across the board. And I cannot wait to see what 2021 is going to bring for folks on this team and in this organization. I mean, we've just got some really high caliber individuals on this team right now that are just starting to catch their own stride. Some new people that are just coming in, and some of them this is their first team call, or maybe last week was their first team call, that have a tremendous amount of potential in this opportunity, and very excited and hopeful there what 2021 is going to mean for all of us collectively. So again, just a great call. And just a monster day for everybody in this organization. And if you weren't recognized because maybe you got a little bit a later start in the year, or you're just trying to find your traction, or maybe you just got here, everything starts from scratch now. It's a fresh new slate. So go out and get it and make it a point to get your name recognized on those leaderboards for 2021 and make your mark. You know, this is an opportunity that literally whatever you make of this is completely in your hands. You know, you've heard me say many times before that when writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold a pen. And literally everybody on this call, you got your own pen right now, and you can make this whatever you want, good or bad. It's no one else's fault. Go look in the mirror how this turns out for you. There are going to be people on this call, many people on this call, that are going to be multimillionaires over the course of the next 3 to 5 years and be long-term residual 7-figure income. And there's other folks that in 2 months are going to run off to the next shiny object. And that's okay. We get it. It's not for everybody. It's not meant to be easy. But the point is, it's whatever you want this to be, it will be. Because the man who thinks he can and the man who thinks he can't are both right. Let that sink in, right? So anyway, great day yesterday for everybody. And let's wrap up with some leaderboards here. One bit of housekeeping that I do want to cover real quick is, remember the conference that we have coming up on March 24th and 25th. That's our virtual conference. If you are not already registered for that, you need to get so. Make sure you go on, register for the contest. It is virtual, so there's no excuse about I couldn't get a plane ticket and I couldn't afford a ticket to conference or get a hotel, all that. It's virtual. And if you're on the line there, go ahead and mute your Chris, if you could get that for me. There's somebody had their mic on. But extremely important to your learning curve here, right? And I know we've said this for the veterans that are on the call. You already know this, but there's a lot of new people, so I'll say it again. Do not make the mistake of thinking that this is some boondoggle BS conference from your corporate world where you hate to go and you had to because your boss said so. This ain't that. If you go to this conference and it does not absolutely fire you up and inspire you to run through a wall when you get off the conference, then I don't know what to tell you. You need to go check your pulse, because there's going to be so much information you're going to get from this thing from people that are extremely successful and are doing the things you want to do or aspire to do, and they're making the kind of money and have built the kind of life that you're wanting to do with this opportunity, and they're willing to pour into you and share that free, tell you all the secrets, everything they know, what they've done, just like your mentors. We all want to pour into you and teach you everything about this opportunity, and to help you get where you want to go as fast as you can get there, and do it faster than we did. So you have to plug into your mentor and these conferences, these calls, everything that we've got going on. So conference registration, March 24th and 25th. Matthew McConaughey is our guest speaker. And most of you know him from movies and such like that. But honestly, if you've not ever listened to some of his motivational speeches at like college commencements and graduations and things like that, go on YouTube and look him up. Powerful stuff. He's very good. So I'm really, really excited about seeing him speak to us specifically at Symmetry, and blessed that the founders were able to get him to come to our conference. So that's huge. So friends and family, people that you know that may even remotely be interested in this business, part-time or otherwise, get them to the conference and have them sit in. There may be something that they see and hear that day that absolutely lights a fire in them that you can't put out. And share it with everybody, okay? Then the other thing was housekeeping wise was huddles. You know, Chris, was kind enough to put together these huddles for the team. I think it's, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, it's Monday through Thursday at 9:30 and 10:30 Eastern. So 8:30, 9:30 Central. Is that right, Chris? Am I off on that?
It's actually 8:30, 10:30 right. Central. So
9:30, 11:30 Eastern. Yeah, sorry about that. That's right. And so twice a day. It's just informal. It's just an opportunity for us to get on. We're not talking about leaderboard specifically. We're just hanging out, getting to know each other, finding out what you do in your life and family. And if there are questions about things related to business or underwriting or a policy, it's whatever. It's just us hanging out there virtually as if we were in an office somewhere and just had a sidebar conversation in the hallway. So great opportunity.
If I can interject exactly what you just said there. Think of it, this is not a formal meeting. There's no agenda. Just think of it that I call it coffee talk because I'm thinking of a coffee break room at work when everybody comes into work and getting ready for their day. Everybody just sitting around, shooting the breeze. Water cooler talk, whatever. So that's what it is. So and feel free. It's 30 minutes long, but you can come in for 2 minutes and leave. Again, just think of it as the office water cooler to walk in, chit chat, get to know some other people, and feel like there's some connection.
Absolutely. And so I want to go ahead and get us kicked off. Unless there's any other housekeeping points that you had there, Chris, we'll go ahead and get kicked off with the leaderboards. Anything else you got, buddy? Stella, was there anything you needed to add there real quick before we move on?
I just want to thank you for being here. I'm so excited about this meeting. That's all.
Awesome. Well, good stuff. So we will cover the leaderboards for last week, and then I want, because we had a great month last month. I want to go ahead and kind of cover the monthly leaderboards. I'm going to do a little bit different. We normally do say the top 10, but I want to recognize everybody that wrote something last month. We had quite a few new writers that might have just written 1 or 2 policies, and they were brand new to folks, and I want those folks to get recognized. But we'll cover the weekly here real quick, and we'll cover the everybody that wrote something last week, and then we'll cover the leaderboards for the month here real quick, and we will move on to our panel guest today. And you think you'll be impressed and enjoy some of the information you'll get from these 2 ladies we're going to have on the call. So for last week, collectively, looks like we combined for 42 applications and just at $42,000 in APV for the week for all of us. That's the Vetter, Menifee, and Dinwiddie teams collectively. So at number 13, we had Mr. Andy McKinley with 3 applications for right at $1,500. $1,459 direct to Chris Menifee. Mr. Mark Roberts had 2 applications for $1,496 direct to myself. Miss Stella Dinwiddie, 2 applications for $1,549 direct to Chris. Miss Natalie Hermit had an application for $1,765 direct to Mr. Eric Sullivan on my team. And then Miss Donna Bates had 2 applications for $1,936, direct to Spencer Cushion. Miss Eva Bowman, 3 applications for $1,995, direct to Miss Stella Dinwiddie. Miss Destiny O'Neill, 2 applications, $2,015, direct to Miss Stella Dinwiddie. Mr. Eric Sullivan at number 6, 1 application is for $23.22, direct to myself. Mr. Lionel Anderson, who you saw yesterday on the award ceremony, the number 2 rookie writer in the Pogue Agency for the year last year. So great job there, Lionel. 4 applications for $3,697, direct to myself. Number 4, Miss Stephanie Stubbs, 2 applications for $4,558, direct to myself. Mr. Spencer Cushion himself, 6 applications for $4,611, direct to Chris Menifee. Myself at number 2 with 4 applications for $6,029, direct to Mr. Chris Menifee. And number 1 with 10 applications for $8,513, Miss Jennifer Gray. Nobody puts baby in the corner. There we go. That's her nickname, Miss Jennifer. Nobody puts baby in the corner, Gray. If you don't remember the Dirty Dancing reference, go back. Never mind. Great job there, and Jennifer's direct to myself. So outstanding job there for the last week team. And so we will move over to the monthly leaderboards for January. And we'll recognize everybody that wrote business during the course of the month last month. It won't take us that long to get through. But starting off, we had Mr. Jorge Morquillo. He had 1 application for $192, direct to myself. He's a new guy just getting into the mix. Wrote a children's policy on his daughter, and he's in the process of doing a DFL policy for himself and a couple of other things. So stay tuned there. Mr. Adrian Borgeson, I had 1 application for $409, direct to myself. Miss Keosha Gladden, new writer on the team, had 1 application for $420, direct to Miss Natalie Hermit on her team. Then David Moan had 2 applications for $519, direct to Miss Stella Dinwiddie. Chris had an application for $821, direct to Scott. So I see you still in the mix, Chris, a little bit there. Richard Gotcher had 1 application for $1,020, direct to Miss Stella Dinwiddie. Another new writer, Bjorn Foss, had 1 application for $1,259, direct to Mr. Chris Menifee. Neosha Armstrong had 5 applications for $1,326, direct to Mr. Chris Menifee as well. Miss Nicole Willison, 2 applications, new writer, for $1,340, direct to Miss Natalie Herman as well. Natalie had 2 new writers last month on her team under Eric Sullivan's organization. So that team's starting to grow a little bit there as well. So great job there. Then Mr. Jerry Points had 3 applications for $1,805, direct to myself. Mr. Ellis Hubbard, another part-time guy in Tennessee, had 2 applications for $1,986, direct to myself. Mr. Mark Roberts had 4 applications for $2,811, direct to myself. Stephen Garrity had 1 application for $2,868, direct to Mr. James McKeon on my team. So great job there, James and Stephen. Miss Natalie Hermit herself, 4 applications for $3,870, direct to my, Natalie Hermit, 3 applications, $3,131, direct to Mr. Eric Sullivan. Mr. Dale Menifee, 4 applications for $3,870 to Mr. Chris Menifee. Mr. Eric Sullivan, 5 applications, $3,953, direct to myself. Mr. Marcus Williams, 6 applications, $4,346, direct to myself. Mr. James McKeon, part-time as well, 5 applications for $5,489, direct to myself. Ms. Diane Newman, 3 applications, $5,630, direct to Spencer. Ms. Stephanie Stubbs, another part-time person, 10 applications, $7,624, direct to myself. Mr. Lionel Anderson, 10 applications, $9,688, direct to myself. And at number 10, Ms. Donna Bates, 22 applications for $14,026, direct to Mr. Spencer Cushion. And then number 9, Sophia Williams, you'll hear from her a little bit later here as well. 13 applications, $15,122.52, direct to Mr. Marcus Williams, her husband. And Mr. Spencer Kujan at number 8, 15 applications, $16,164 direct to Chris Menifee. Number 7, Ms. Terry Myers, 23 applications, $16,586 direct to Ms. Stella Dinwiddie. Number 6, Destiny O'Neill, 14 applications, $17,126 direct to Ms. Stella Dinwiddie. She is on fire. Mr. Andy McKinley there, 19 applications, $23,356 direct to Mr. Chris Menifee. And then Stella Dinwiddie herself leading from the front with a record month for her team as well, right at 90,000, I believe, right after just making AO. 26 applications, $25,844.16 direct to Mr. Chris Menifee. And then she got nudged out by her own protege, Eva Bowman, there at 19 applications for $28,904 direct to Miss Stella Dinwiddie. Number 2, and you'll hear from her again here in just a little bit, with the app count as well, lead Miss Jenny Gray, 31 applications, $29,093.28 direct to myself in just her second month, as well as Sophia Williams, both in their second months. And then number 1 for the month, myself with 17 applications, $30,906 for the month direct to Mr. Chris Menifee. Absolutely. I told you I was starting to tone it back. I got to focus on you guys. I over-indexed a little bit, but that is just a rock solid overall month. And the fact that we had 3 brand new writers again this month, I think we had 2 or 3 brand new writers the month before collectively on the team, and just really starting to gain some traction. So, great job to everyone here who went out and protected a family and provided value to folks, and helped the new person on your team, if you're recruiting already, help them to get into the mix and start to write business and protect families as well. So outstanding job to everyone there. And again, no mystery as to why so many folks were recognized on the leaderboards for last year for the Pogue hierarchy yesterday. So awesome. So we will get kicked off there. Anything else that you wanted to chime in on real quick before we move on, Chris or Stella? Good to go? Awesome. So I will pull this back up here real quick, and then, because I want to introduce these 2 ladies here. And there we go. So the 2 ladies, what I wanted to do today really was just to highlight and feature 2 folks on my team in our organization that are really starting to gain some traction and do well. And what I thought would be of value to the team is, it's one thing to see folks on the leaderboards who've been here for a year or 2 years, or the same people, things like that you see on the leaderboards. And sometimes when you're new, sometimes that can kind of seem like it's you can't relate to that maybe, or it's unattainable, or there's some secret sauce, or they just figured something out because, there's something special or magically delicious about whatever they do or something. The point is, I want to definitely recognize these 2 ladies on the call today, and give us a chance to really just do a panel interview, get them to open up and share what they're doing, what they've done, a little bit about who they are, and what they're doing in order to find some success, because that's really where folks struggle, is when you're brand new, is just really finding that traction, right? And what do I need to do? And I think sometimes people overthink it, and they think there's some secret sauce. So you got to find some magic formula that's not in the training or the system that we give to you. And it's actually quite the opposite. We're giving you everything you need. The key is, if you're not plugging in and following the blueprint that we're giving you, typically that's why you're not finding success, because people have a tendency to try to find a different way. I know a better way, or I used to do it. Stop. Wipe the slate clean, empty your glass, and let us pour into you and follow the blueprint. And that is the key to success. I've told you that's what allowed me to fly this plane while I was building it from the beginning. And so many other people will tell you the same thing. And so these 2 ladies both were in their second month. Really, part-time the previous month, but really two full months into this business. And I want to highlight both of these ladies. So first and foremost, and we'll kind of go back and forth a little bit, right? So what we'll do is we'll talk about for Sophia Williams. This is her second full month, and she wrote 13 apps for 15,122.52 in her second month. Okay, now she's doing this as a team with her husband Marcus, and combined the two of them had right at $20,000 APV for the month. So kudos to them as a team. They're also working ZipRecruiter ads and starting to get that machine going to build their team and such as well, but working this together, which is kind of cool, right? And I know they've been doing some traveling back and forth between Georgia and Florida with family issues and stuff. So, you know, but the point is, second month, and wrote 15,000 on her own pen, and combined with her husband right at $20,000 in APV. Okay, second month. The next other lady that we're going to recognize today is Miss Jenny Gray. Again, second month, 31 applications for $29,093.28. Second month. In her first full month back in December, she wrote just over $15,000 in APV in her first full month. So she's climbing this thing and has a blistering pace already this month. If you look at the Crew app and see the sales that are being posted on there. So what I really wanted to do is highlight both of these ladies and just kind of bring them on and have them kind of pour into us, and I'll ask them questions a little bit, you know, to kind of guide the conversation. But really, Jenny and Sophia, I want you to feel free just to be open and honest and vulnerable with the team. I mean, talk to them about what you do and your lead strategy and plugging in and all those other things, and just share with people what it is you're doing to have found the success that you have just in a short amount of time you've been here. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the call Miss Sophia Williams and Miss Jenny Gray. Awesome, awesome. So we'll start off just for introductions here, just to tell a little bit about yourself and kind of where you came from and your background and things like that, and what brought you to Symmetry. And then we'll go for each of you. Then we'll pivot over to some of the questions here. So, Sophia, talk to me a little bit about you know, where you came from, what your past history was, and how you found Symmetry, and a little bit about yourself and who you are.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Sophia Williams. I'm under Menifee Veteran Dinwiddie Agency. I wanted to just start off by saying, you know, how grateful I am for, you know, Brandon and Casey coming together and having, you know, that huddle one day and making their goals into reality so that others may be able to leave their legacy for their family. And Chris, I see you reaching out for the huddles, and I'm looking forward to joining those every morning. And I hope everyone as well will join. So I just wrote a few things because I didn't want to kind of go off of this. But anyway, so for me, it all started when my husband replied to a ZipRecruiter ad. It was from an ad from Chris Menifee, actually. We were currently living in Steamboat Springs, Colorado, a small town on top of the Rockies, and we had to make a big decision in our lives in January 2020. And, you know, I will come back to that and explain my why, you know, why we decided to move and come back to the South. Chris introduced us to John Paul Vetter when we moved to the Atlanta area. And we're so grateful to have John Paul as our mentor. He shows each and every one of us that this opportunity is possible. And through all that he has accomplished, from hitting his goals, winning awards, trips, and most importantly, leaving a legacy for his family and others. Thank you for believing in each and every one of us. A quote for any new agent on the line today, you know, walk with the dreamers, the believers, the courageous, the cheerful, the successful, people with their heads in the clouds and their feet on the ground. Let their spirit ignite a fire within you to leave this world better than you found it. Wilford Peterson. About myself, before I came into this, I was a licensed realtor in Florida, and I absolutely loved helping families find a home. So when COVID hit, I didn't want to go into the homes anymore. Marcus introduced me to the insurance, and I jumped on right away. So I'm really thankful to be able to not go into the homes and protect families. I'm 100% virtual. I haven't stepped foot in anyone's home. So I absolutely love this company and what it has for everyone. um, so what I started plugging into the system. I attend all training calls, all the meetings. I don't miss a single one, and if I do, I record it and I go back to them, and I grab nuggets from every one of them, and it gives me motivation daily to start my day off. I put everything on my calendar. I follow it to a T. Sometimes I get off, and sometimes I wake up late. It's really hard. I find myself struggling when I wake up late and I don't get, going. I use quotes. I use a lot of quotes to get motivated. So grit is the best one for me. Grit is mental toughness and passion that propels you towards achieving your vision for life. It's the key to remaining focused and motivated rather than courage or exceptional talent. Grit is the tenacity and perseverance, resilience, and willingness to keep you going despite obstacles. It is quickly adapting to new circumstances and being committed to work hard for long, trusting that if you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel, you will light that sucker up, okay? You just keep pushing forward. So how do I face challenges? Back to the word of the day for me. Gritty people have a mindset when bad things happen, they don't give up. Everything happens on a mental level before it manifests on a physical level. This is why it's so important to get your mindset right. You have to believe in yourself no matter what the external circumstances are. Strengthen your vision and have hope that things can be better. And success is 20%, strategy is 80% mindset right there. You have to have your mind right each and every morning you start your day, right? We have so much negativity in our minds than we can imagine, and we have to have more positive people in our life and positive things to look forward to, right? Activity, effort counts twice as much as talent. I make time on my calendar, 20 to 27 hours of dial time. I try to fit it all in. I mean, I know that's a lot, but a lot of times, like I said, I wake up late or I'm behind. So I put that on my schedule. I'm booking currently 6 to 11 appointments a week. My goal is to reach 15 to 20 appointments consistently every week and help, 1 to 2 families a day. I follow the system. It's laid out for me. I have another mentor as well, other than John Paul. It's Jim Rohan. His quote is, "Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practice every day." So that's what I do. I practice the simple things that makes us successful and stay successful. We can't forget the little things that will keep us above. I get up early every morning. I don't keep too long, but I get up early every morning and I practice my personal development. I exercise, read, journal, eat healthy, meditate. I get dressed so I feel good. I feel ready for the day. If I'm wearing my sweatpants, I really never wake up the day. It doesn't matter how much coffee I have. Personal development requires a lot of time and hard work. It's been really hard for me. But I struggle, everyone does, and I look forward to overcoming and achieving. My husband, Marcus, and I read books together. One really good book we finished was called Frank Bedker. It's I Raised Myself from Failure to Success in Selling by Frank Bedker. It's an excellent book for really short read. If anyone wants to get in and read that, that's very encouraging and things you can pull out. Our next book we purchased was on Amazon coming in. It's The Slight Edge. So we're really looking forward to that. And building our team with John Paul, he has set up the Zip Recruiter for us. The ads they're currently running. We have 10 each, and we're working those, and we look forward to the month of February to bring on some new recruits to Symmetry Family. You know, I'm lucky to be with someone, you know, like my husband, who cares so much about me and myself, and always being by my side. I value all the time I get to spend with him. Thank you, Marcus, for treating me so wonderful all the time. It's a blessing to be able to work side by side along with your husband, and anyone that gets an opportunity to work with their husband and be in their family and having the freedom to do in their daily work, have their family with them, is a blessing. My long-term goal, changing our family tree, you know, nothing is impossible. The word itself says I'm possible. What's my why? Coming back to my why is because my husband is my why. He needs a heart transplant. So my goal here at Symmetry Financial is to be a very successful agent, so that we can help families in need, just like I need the best doctors for my husband. I want the best for my family. I want nothing more for my kids to have their father, and their father to see their grandkids one day. Word for the year: invest. I'm going to invest all my heart, my time, my money, protecting families and the people in my life. Be grateful for every second of every day you get to spend with the people you love. Our time together is so short and so precious. So I guess I want to say some nuggets too before I close. And I just follow the system. Basically, so I stay consistent, and I just go over the phone script. I word from word. I don't try to put any personal put my own personal words in it. I just follow the script. I stay confident, and I get the information, fill out the client form as quickly as possible, and get their why. You know, I always ask, what do you want this coverage to do for you? And I always follow up with that in the appointment. So I try to be in control of the conversation and setting the appointments. My first purchase was a 50-cent lead. So anyone new coming in, don't give up on the 50-cent lead. My first application was on a 50-cent lead, and the guy told me that he had no one to reach out to him. So he's just a busy guy. No one answered, you know, he never answered the phone, right? And that was over two years that he told me it took for someone to reach out to him. So there are more families that need to be protected than agents available to these families. So John Paul told me, you know, don't confuse your clients with too many options. Go strong, find the absolute best, you know, plan, company, budget, you know, and stick with it. If it's a 30-year they're looking for, make sure that it's consistent in its 30 years. We can change the benefit and the premium around during the appointment time. But most of all, I just go off the PowerPoint. I show them option A being the most comprehensive. That's the full mortgage payoff. And then I show them option B, you know, which is the natural plus accidental, to give them a full mortgage payoff, a little bit more budget friendly. And then option C, you know, it's I just work that one where I change the budget where they need it to be, and I just tell them something's better than nothing later. And I go over stories that I've heard in all these conference calls with others, how they've helped their clients. So I always put myself in their shoes, and I want the best for them, just as if anybody would help my family. And I always tell them, they kind of want to know a time frame. When's this going to be over? You know, like like, when is this conversation going to be over? But I tell them 15, 20 minutes in the beginning, we go over the options that I've put together for them. I go over mortgage protection. That's what I'm into right now, is just mortgage protection. So we go over the PowerPoint, what I've put together, and then the next 15 to 20 minutes, I tell them, is the application. I'm a licensed insurance broker, and I'm here to help you and your family apply, and it only takes 15 to 20 minutes. And you just set an hour of time out for me, and we'll find the best policy for you. So we basically just get them qualified, because no policy is guaranteed until we get the application in, right? So I just ask them to make sure they pick a good date where they can keep the policy active. Everybody gets paid a certain time of the month, every 2 weeks, once a month. So we always know what day is good for us, right? And I introduced myself. I said, "Welcome to the family." And I tell them I'm your new family member. So, save my name in your contacts. And anytime you, your daughter, your husband, anybody needs me, you just give me a call if you have any questions. And I tell them I'm here for birthdays. I try to reach out and put their birthdays on my calendar. And, so I like to use the visual. I try to get them on appointments by the virtual Zoom link, and because people are visual and they like to see the numbers. And that's enough for me. I can keep going on for a little bit longer, but thank you so much, John Paul, for letting me speak.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Sophia. We appreciate you and Marcus so much, and we're so blessed to be on this journey with you. I can't tell you, how much it means for us to be able to partner with you all in this journey. And I know we were featuring your production specifically for this last month and such like that. But Marcus came first over here, right, and then brought you along with him. And again, working as a team, as we mentioned earlier, combined for $20,000 in APV for the month is still rock solid, especially when you get the blessings of working with your spouse as a team and such like that. And Marcus, I know you're on the other line there, and I know I didn't tee this up specifically, but definitely, brother, I want you to know how much we love you, man, and appreciate both you all. And if you want to jump on for a second and say a couple of words, you're more than welcome. Are you there, Marcus?
Yeah, I'm here. Thank you, John Paul, and thank you, Sophia, for supporting me. I'm truly blessed to be part of this organization. It wasn't by accident that I'm here. And, I would just encourage all of you that are listening. Every one of those families is going to need you. There's not one that doesn't need you. So whatever it takes, that's what you got to do, whatever it takes. And, I've got some, unique challenges, but everyone does. So stick with it, man. Just stick with it. I'm just really thankful. So thank you, John Paul, for the opportunity to talk.
Absolutely, brother. Again, we love both y'all, and we appreciate you so much, man. And we're all in this together, man. This is one big family. And I don't think that when people initially see this opportunity, they may see the income opportunity and the business opportunity and such like that. But I don't think people truly understand just how special a place this company is when they first come in. Again, man, love you guys and blessed to be on this journey with you, and so grateful to have you on the team. All right, so let's move over to our next guest that we wanted to cover here. Again, second month, almost 30,000, just short of $30,000 in APV for January at 31 applications, and a little over 15,000 in our first month in December. So do the math on that. It's combined 2 months in a row for about $45,000 in APV in the first 2 months. Doesn't suck, right? So with that said, everybody's got a little different style, right, and different personalities, different approaches, and the reason why we highlight different people is because I want people to know there are tons of people finding success here with different approaches and different personalities, and just the different viewpoints and how they kind of approach us, but there's one commonality that everybody wants to make a difference in somebody's life and connect with folks. And so wanted to share, some other individuals who are finding success early so they can kind of tell their story. So, with that said, we've got Miss Jenny Gray, and she's in Lafayette, Louisiana, right there in crawfish country. We will tee her up, and same things. Tell us about yourself, where you came from, and what you do to find success. And the floor is yours, ma'am.
Well, first of all, I just want to say, Sophia and Marcus, wow. I mean, you guys are awesome. And I don't know about you guys, but for me, I am just now starting to feel like, kind of part of the family. And so I just feel so blessed to be, with you guys. I'm having a blast. John Paul has just been completely awesome. I mean, I could not ask for a better mentor. Everything that he told me, but when I was looking at this opportunity, has been the God-forsaken truth. I mean, everything that he told me. So, I'm super happy to be here. And I guess I'd like to share a little bit about myself. And then, John Paul, I'm going to kind of let you just ask me some questions about like what I do, with my new business and all that stuff. But so everybody on this call has a story. Everybody has their own reason or their own why they get up every morning. And so mine is a little difficult. Oh, I didn't want to do this.
That's all right. We love you, girl. Go ahead.
So 4 years ago, last month, my husband Randy and I lost our son Jack. He was 20 years old, and we lost him to a drug overdose. I'm gonna get it together in a second. So, that's kind of my why, and how this happened was just so tragic. Okay, so about 8 years ago, we had the little fairy tale life, just living the dream. Randy had like this unbelievable career. I had my own ad agency, just kicking ass, just doing great. And we had these two beautiful children. And like everybody else, what happened? The economy fell out, right? And in a blink of an eye, we lost everything. Sorry. And so what happened was that Randy lost his job, and I lost my ad agency. And what I did was I started selling an upscale ladies clothing line, right? And so I was the main breadwinner, just trying to keep it together. And it was a struggle, a huge struggle. And we ended up losing our house. But in the meantime, we lost our son to drugs, to addiction. And eventually he lost his life. So I guess for me, my struggle has been the fear of failure, and fear of lack, just not having enough. I almost feel like I have PTSD. And so, and I'm sure that there are people on this call that can relate to that, because, we've all gone through financial struggles and such. But so that's the struggle that I'm continuing to deal with on a daily basis, is just getting over that fear of failure and fear of not having enough. But one of the cool things that I'm really starting to see, like the light at the end of the tunnel, because I wake up every day and what I realize is that with this opportunity, I will always have the ability to make money. All I have to do is turn the faucet on. All I have to do is buy those leads and get on that phone and start calling, and the money's just coming in. And, you know, I'm not where I want to be right now. Of course, it's only my second month, but I can see where I'm going with this, and I'm just super excited, super excited. And so, like right now, my close ratio, I was telling Stella earlier today, my close ratio sucks. I'm like, I'm only at like 25%, but I know that every month that goes by, I'm going to get better and better and better. And if I just keep the gas on, like John Paul's always telling me, then I know where my future is going. And everybody on this call, we all have the same opportunity here. It's just, I mean, I just can pinch myself. I just can't even believe that God has led me to this opportunity. And so everybody new on this call, I'm new too. If I can do it, you can do it. And it's just a matter of, like Sophia said, just plugging into the system, doing exactly what they're telling you to do, and, you know, putting in the activity, just getting on the phones and putting in the activity. And, I play games with myself a lot. Like I'll pull like 5, out of my big stack of leads, because that kind of gets intimidating, right? So I'll pull like 5 leads out, and then I'll say, okay, I'm going to call these 5. And then after that, I'm going to go take my fishing pole out to my little pond outside. I'm going to go fishing for about 15 minutes. And then I'll come back in and I'll call 5 more. And then I'll go fold a load of laundry. And then I'll come back in and I'll call 5 more. But I mean, it's just constant activity that I think that has helped me. Because honestly, with my close ratio right now, I have to have, 15 to 20 appointments on the books every week in order to do the numbers that I want to do. So with that, John Paul, and I apologize for getting so emotional. I told myself I wouldn't do that. I mean, because I could talk about my son all day long to anybody. And, sometimes I have, I can do the straight face, but then other times, I just have to let the tears go. So I apologize for my emotions.
No apologies needed. I mean, that's what makes us who we are. This is family. And I just want to say how much we all appreciate and respect both of y'all, your honesty and transparency, vulnerability, just in sharing that with people. Because what people don't understand is that everybody has a story. Everybody has something going on behind the scenes in their life. There were other people on my team that have similar situations and scenarios with loved ones of theirs, and I know these things, and I appreciate them sharing that with me so I can help them on their journey. So this can be whatever it means to them specifically, and that's what this is about. This is family. So when you can kind of let your guard down and be open with people around you, and it's just us against the world. That's what this is about. So appreciate you sharing that. And I know you had shared that with me before, and just so glad that you have a chance to share that story with our team. And both, Sophia and Marcus, and your stories are just so moving. And there are other people on this call listening to this story that have their own stories, right? And there'll be a time in the near future where they'll have an opportunity to share that with other people. And it goes to that meme that I shared on Crew, and I posted up, and it's the chalk writing on the sidewalk that says, one day you'll get a chance to tell your story of what you're going through right now, and it's going to become part of someone else's survival guide.
Yeah. And
that's what this is about. So appreciate you sharing that with us, and so blessed that you felt that you can open up and tell us that, and same with Marcus and Sophia. So let's talk about.
Thank you, Jenny, and thank you, Sophie, by the way, for sharing y'all's story.
Yeah, appreciate that, James. So tell us a little bit about kind of your we talk about connecting and plugging in, right? And people hear that a lot, and some people do and some people don't, right? There are people on this call right now that sometimes they get on a team meeting and sometimes they don't, things like that. I'm just being honest with you because I love you all, and I'm always going to be right in your face and be as direct as possible. If you're not plugging in, you ain't going to make it. I don't care who you are. If you do, you'll shock the hell out of me. It's just not possible. Even if you did, it's going to take significantly longer than it should have taken. And most people aren't patient enough to wait that damn long. So in other words, instead of trying to prolong it, exactly, Mark Davenport, I love it. Trust the process. He just commented on there, popping on the screen. Trust the process and trust the people that are your mentors. Everybody here and up the ladder in this hierarchy genuinely has your best interest at heart. None of us have received anything whatsoever, for recruiting somebody, putting them in licensing, and showing them the sales process or getting them the training and having them plug into calls. We don't benefit at all unless you're able to help protect families and start to build your own dream. That's first thing, and the difference is none of us want something from you. We want something for you. And there is a big damn difference. We want you to be able to build this dream to whatever it is you define that, just like we're having the opportunity to do so, right? So, Jenny, talk to me a little bit about, you've done an exceptional job, and so many others on the team, but you've done an exceptional job, in my opinion, of plugging into me and calling me on a regular basis and in just connecting with me for guidance and input and those types of things. So talk to us a little bit about kind of what that looks like for you and how that's helped you in this, because I want other people who may not be plugging into their mentor as much because of ego or whatever the challenge is. I want them to understand how much that's helped you expedite your learning curve. So can you help people that may be new and don't maybe think that's very important?
Absolutely. So, first of all, no man is an island, right? We all need, you can't operate in isolation. We're all in our homes. Sometimes I don't leave my house for 2 days. And, plugging into the system, plugging into the trainings, all of the calls, so important. John Paul stressed early on that, if you don't plug into the calls, the light bulb moment, the light bulb message might be on that call and you missed it. And it could have been made the difference between, 6 months growth spurt, just like that. And so I definitely took that to heart. I also had kind of an unusual situation. I guess it's because I live in the state of Louisiana, but it took me, it seemed like it took a lot longer for me to get my license in. And so during the time that I was waiting on my license to come in, I considered it a full-time job to plug into everything. And if there wasn't a live call going on, I was plugging into the recorded calls, to the SoundCloud, and to the videos on the web, on the Symmetry site, and just treating it like it was a full-time job, even when I didn't really have anything to do other than just wait for my license. And so by the time my license finally came in, I felt pretty, as confident as you can be as a new, somebody doing something completely new. But I was able to just jump right in and start making sales that very first week because I had plugged in, waiting for my license to come in.
Absolutely. And just in full transparency, the real reason why Jenny's license took so long to come back, I don't really need to put this out to the world, but Bobby Boucher's mom works at the insurance office, and his mama say insurance is the devil. I'm always jabbing at her about the Bobby Boucher water boy jokes, but that's good. They got the best food in the country right there in Louisiana. So no, great stuff. So plugging in. And so let's talk about a lead mix, right? Now, when you first came in, we started out in 50-cent leads, just kind of cutting your teeth, learning the ropes. But, we've worked on a lead strategy for you to kind of fuel that machine and supercharge that to get you where you want to go, right? And so I think a lot of times people ride that they walk that tightrope between, I don't have any money for leads versus I only want to get a couple, but next week I might not get any, but next week give me 3, that kind of thing. And you're just wobbling all over the place. You're not going to get any consistency like that. Not to the extent that somebody, I think, wants to find success, unless you're just a part-time person that just needs to make $1,000 a month or something. But if you're trying to build this thing, You got to fuel the machine. So you and I have worked on a lead strategy where we very quickly, once we felt your phone script was where it needed to be, you know, and you were able to knock down some sales and start to learn the process, we started funneling, you know, A leads to you, and then incremented that more and more to where now on a consistent, and plus a 5A GMR, bonus lead GMR, which everybody should have. And so right now, on average, you know, we and I have agency GMRs that we allocate over, and she actually has a new GMR that we just set up that should kick in this week. But Jenny normally gets 12 to 13-ish A leads and 25 A's that she gets every single week. So talk a little bit about that roadmap and kind of how we transition to that over the course of a short amount of time, you know, to kind of get you into the mix, and you are knocking down sales and then we're funneling that money back into more leads to build you to the point where you're kind of at now with a solid A lead and 5A GMR, Jenny.
Yeah. So I started, like every new agent, I started with those 50-cent leads, and remarkably, I did pretty well in my first week. I booked 15 appointments from the 50-cent leads, and I, you know, I did have to put in my dials, of course, you know, but that alone, you know, gave me a lot of confidence. And as I started working the appointments, I started feeling even more confident, and I got to a point where John Paul said, "Well, you're ready," and it, you know, it was a leap of faith. You know, it's kind of a daunting thing to you know, commit to that investment on a weekly basis. But I remember there was a national call that Casey did on a whiteboard, and I can't remember when that was. And John Paul, you might be able to help me out with this. But basically, Casey Watkins, he loves to dig into the numbers, and he laid out the numbers on buying the A leads. And basically, when he finished that little exercise, when he showed that the more you invest in leads, your sales become exponentially larger. And so I just trusted that, because everything that the founders have said has been the truth. I trusted that, and I knew, you know, I have a credit card, you know, I have extended credit on my card. I'm going to dig in, and I'm going to just do it. And it works. It works. And the thing about the A leads and the 5A leads, as opposed to the lower bonus leads, is that you don't, it's a matter of time. Do you want to spend your time dialing, or do you want to spend your time running calls? Because the dialing is the avenue to get the calls. I want to spend my time face to face on the call helping families. I don't want to spend my time dialing and getting no answers and voicemails and all that stuff. And I will tell you from my very limited experience that those A leads, last week I had 13 or 14 A leads. I set 8 appointments off of those 14 A leads. This week, not so much, but last week, yes. And then of course the 5A leads aren't so bad either. So does that answer the question?
Yeah, it does. And what people have to understand is, as the further you get down the runway, you're not going to necessarily set all the appointments the first time you got the leads, right? So you start to build a pipeline. There are times I set appointments for tomorrow on a lead that I got back in December. I just hadn't been able to catch up with them yet. That doesn't mean it was a bad lead. It just means I wasn't able to connect with them yet. Right? So you build up a pipeline, or you get these ones where you talk to people and they tell you, well, call me back after the end of the month or whatever. So you build that up. I've got a January to December file that you can get at any the office supply store, and I keep those in there. So call me back in February. Well, come February, I'm pulling out the stack of 12 or 15 leads that I talked to back in September and August or whatever. I paid for them. I'm gonna call them. Inevitably, is that going to result in 20 sales? No. But I guarantee it's going to turn into 1 or 2 sales consistently. Then you start to build referrals and people calling you back. Perfect example, the sale that I did last night for $3,000 is a lady that I helped last June. She called me out of the blue. That's twice in the last 2 weeks that I wrote policies for my previous customers from previous years. They called me back. No lead cost there. That's relationship building to where they trust you and believe in you. They call you back. She wanted me to look at options for her mom and dad. They realized her dad already had what he needed. So we definitely did something for her mom. And she wants to look at some additional coverages. And she's texting me back this afternoon because we ran out of time last night when we can connect to look at another option to add on to what we did before. So you start to build this pipeline. And so to your point, lead cost is extremely important. And we're going to go over a few minutes here, but I think this is all extremely important and germane to the conversation of your success here is stop being afraid to spend money on leads. Trust yourself and trust the system. And I'm not saying if you don't have $1,000, don't go spend $1,000 on leads. I spent $1,000 on my leads week before last. Okay. But I grew to that. But if you've got $200 or $250, stop spending $30 on leads and thinking you're going to break out on leaderboards. It ain't going to happen. Newsflash, ain't going to happen. I guarantee you, if you look at Lee Jedlicka, who we saw wrote $600,000, you want to know what that guy spends on leads every week? He's at 110% contract level. Do you think he gives a damn about spending $2,000 a week on his leads? He needs the tax write-off. You make $600,000, you need to write something off. As an example, and if you look at what you spend on leads, Casey and Brandon have said many times, when you spend your money on leads, when you're looking at your leads, and it's all proportional, but if you look at what you spend, if your lead cost should basically be about 10% of what you generate in revenue. And I'm telling you right now, it's a fact, because last year, I just pulled it up while you were talking, Jenny. I ran in opt under my lead orders. And for those of you who don't know, for the end of the year, for your taxable, your tax deductions and stuff, you don't necessarily have to keep those receipts every single day when you do it. Opt does it for you. I've got a tally right here. Last year, I spent $32,832.18 on my leads, more than some people make in a year. I wrote $387,000 on my own pen last year. So $33,000, $387,000 in revenue, 10%, multiply by 10. So if you want to spend in theory, now you can do better or worse because everything averages out. If you want to make $10,000 a week, you need to be spending about $1,000 on your leads for the week. Now that doesn't mean you spend $1,000 if you don't have it, but your goal should be to grow into that. That's $40,000 a month. So you spent $4,000 and wrote $40,000 in business. What math class did somebody flunk to not understand that if you give me $4,000, I'll give you $40,000, and you get to write the $4,000 off on your taxes in the first place, right? So you got to get to where you can invest in yourself and stop being a duck in the pond and kind of paddling around and not really getting serious about this. You know, the point is, if you want to grow this, there's no business opportunity in America where most situations you got to go and you got to put in some kind of a capital investment, franchise fee, buy-in. And these things are hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars of liquid assets you got to have available to even talk to them. You got a $100 insurance license and you have all the freedom in the world to spend a couple $100 on leads. Come on, man. You're not spending money on gas because you're not driving around anywhere.
Right.
Invest that in yourself. You're not spending it on tires and oil changes because you're not driving around anymore. Invest that in yourself. It takes money to make money. And the leads that we have are the absolute fuel to the machine. Period. You've got to spend the money on leads. Now, skill set and everything you've got to work on to be able to elevate that to be good at what you do. Absolutely. You can't just buy leads and not be very good on the phones or still have areas of opportunity you need to improve upon. That's not going to work. But you should grow to that. And the only way you're going to grow to that is by plugging into your mentor and getting on the calls and having at-bats. So what happens in a situation like Jenny's, in my opinion, is she's not had any less challenges or adversities or difficulties or objections or BS or cancels or whatever than anybody else. but she's had them in a condensed time frame because she jumped in both feet all in. So she's had the same learning opportunities, but she's learned them and she's moved on to the next level and she's chopping wood. And she's got the money to spend on leads and buy more leads and fuel her machine. You can't drive a Formula One race car without any fuel in the tank. And you can't come into the pits and just dip a little bit of fuel. Okay, that's enough. And then try to go back on the track. Your shit's going to break down before you get off a pit road. You don't have enough fuel. That's the difference in this. And the reason why most people fail in insurance in the first place, out in the other opportunities and companies and this and that and the third, is because they run out of people to talk to. They don't have enough opportunities to present. Not that they're not good or don't know insurance, but you don't find a viable, high caliber client with a propensity to buy that has a need. So you run out of opportunities to make money. So you run off to the next shiny object. Guess where you get the opportunities, man? Right here. This is just the ones I'm working over the last couple of weeks. And that's probably leads going back to November. I've keep those there. The point is you've got to combine that fuel with the leads, with your activity and all the other things above. It's a proven formula. The question is, do you have the discipline to sit down and actually do it? There are people on this call doing it. Look in the mirror and ask yourself, why am I not getting what I want? Why am I not getting the results? Don't be upset with the results you didn't get for the work you didn't do. Period. Jenny, that's a great point on the leads, and you've done a great job there. And because you have those at-bats more frequently, that's helped you get through that learning curve. Some of you are still in that longer, prolonged learning curve just because you're piddling around and you don't have the same number of at-bats. So 4 weeks from now, you're still struggling because somebody gave you an objection on the phone you don't know how to handle. Hell, if you'd gotten more leads early on, you'd have gone through that and you'd be a pro and have the confidence and swagger to handle that and jump right on and close that customer. But you don't know what to say because you're not making the dials to have the at-bats to get through your learning curve. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's extremely, extremely important. So Jenny, last thing that I want you to kind of cover for us, and we'll go ahead and get off, is just kind of talk to us a little bit. Now you've kind of branched into the recruiting, right? And you've got a couple of folks on the call right now that, in my opinion, have extremely high propensity for success here, and very excited for what the future brings for you and those folks in our organization. But talk to us a little bit now that you're into the recruiting as well with your ZipRecruiter ads and such, and working on trying to build your agency. I know your husband is helping you a little bit as well to set up some of the interviews while he's trying to get his license. But talk to us a little bit about that aspect of it and kind of what this means for you. There's now money, right, with the production, but then there's forever money, and there's long term. So I forgot who said it yesterday, but you can be rich now or you can be wealthy forever. And the beautiful thing about this opportunity is you can do both and transition from one into the other, right? So talk to us a little bit about that part of the opportunity for you and growing your team and such.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely we need the money now. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so driven as far as activity goes. But I mean, man, we're in it for the big money. I mean, the opportunity is there. And I mean, I've seen it. I mean, I'm looking at John Paul right now. I'm looking at Chris and Stella is well on her way. And I know that it's possible. It seems a little out of reach for me right now because it's just like that pie in the sky. But just like writing business, there's a system. The system is there, and if you just follow the system, it's going to happen for me too. And so yeah, I'm very blessed to have my husband Randy, who is full-time employed as well, but he does have time on his hands to where he can kind of share the not the burden, but share some of the tasks of recruiting. But we're all in. I mean, we're here to build an agency, and we're here to grow, just like the guys on top are growing. And everybody says this, and John Paul said this to me. This is the best time to be here. There's never been a better time to start building an agency. And I want that forever money, man. I want that. I want to be able to go on vacation and enjoy myself and have money, you know, being deposited into my bank account. And eventually, what I'm really excited about is I want to coach my people just like John Paul's coaching me. I want to be able to, you know, to use most of my time helping other people realize their dream and helping them understand that this is the real deal. This can happen. It's just a matter of it's the slight edge is what it is. If you haven't read that book, man, you need to get that book, because it's the little things that we do on a daily basis consistently that will grow over time. So yeah, I can't see really, I can't visualize myself in you know, in Chris's shoes and in Pogue's shoes, and I mean all those guys. I can't really see that for me right now, but I know that if I do what they told me to do consistently every day, that I'm going to wake up one day and I'm going to be a freaking millionaire. And
Absolutely.
I'm excited. And I hope you guys are excited, because it's going to happen to you too. You just follow the system.
Absolutely. I mean, I lose sleep at night sometimes just thinking about what this means for me and my family and so many other people on this team. And, you know, to one of the points you said that I'll elaborate on just a little bit, because I think it's relevant, is you talked about I can't see, you know, where Chris Menifee or you know, Jacob Pogue or Marshall Whalen and such like that. But one thing's funny about when you look into the distance, right, to try to see a destination from your perspective, where you're at right now, you can only see to the horizon. Trust your mentor that's at the horizon leading you to get there, because when you get to the horizon, you can see that much further into the distance. And it has to do with what I said before. So many people have a tendency to look at how far they've got to go to get to where they want to accomplish, that they lose sight of the fact of just how far they've come. So this is a journey. We talk about this all the time, you know, being blessed to be on this journey, you know, and stuff. And it is, right? You know, we're all learning and where we're at, you know, so there's things I'm focused on and learning now that are different than it was when I came in, you know, in not quite 2.5 years ago into this opportunity, but I'm able to focus now on that next destination on my horizon. And I'm looking back behind me, the other direction of the horizon, with all my people to bring them with me, because I can see things they can't. I can see the path to places that they want to go, because I'm just that much further along their journey than them. And more importantly, I can help share with them the ability to avoid pitfalls and challenges and getting off course and things that I might have done, which helps them get there faster. So it all comes full circle on what we said, and plugging into your mentor and having faith, believing in what they say. But none of it means anything if you don't have the grit to stick this out, because it's not going to be easy, period. But the common denominator, and we'll close with this, with everyone at Symmetry who's found success to any extent, is that their fight and their why was stronger than their quit and their excuses. Period. That's the difference between folks that are successful here and not. And when the day's done, it is completely in your control. No one else's fault. It's not your bosses. It's not the corporate policies. It's not HR. It's nothing. It's yours to either embrace it and attack the opportunity and demand your success, or to run off to the next shiny object and miss out on something that could have changed you forever. You know, and that's the difference with this opportunity and anything else that we've ever done. You know, so I encourage each and every one of you to embrace your why and what this opportunity can mean for you and your family. And when the day's done, keep chopping wood. Stay focused on what you want to accomplish. Plug into your mentor every single day. Make sure you're fueling this machine. Invest in yourself and continue to get better, because everyone in this organization can end up in the same place as Marshall Wayland or anybody else. There's not only one or two spots that somebody gets plugged into because they're buddies with somebody in HR and up the corporate ladder. everyone has the same opportunity to build your own dream here. That's the difference. Are you up for it? I know I am. I'm built for this. And I know all of you are as well. So I apologize for running a little bit over here on the call, but I think it's just so, so powerful, to share this stuff with you all, to continue to inspire people on this team. Really appreciate Marcus and Sophia and Jenny, again, in your vulnerability and just sharing your success in the short time you've been here, and really appreciate you all and blessed again to be on this journey with all of you. Chris, did you have anything that you wanted to leave in closing? All right. Listen, it's Friday. Go out there today and make an impact in somebody else's life, whether it's a client or somebody on your team, to recruit them, to expose them to this opportunity. And go out there today and do something that will change all of your tomorrows. I appreciate you. Love you all. Have a blessed day. Let's get it.